Hello everyone and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Justice for All. Last time we discovered that an actor who goes by the name Juan Corrida was found murdered in his hotel room during a superhero convention Grand Prix. Um, he was the main. Oh, he played a character known as the uh Jammin Ninja. So yeah, he was found murdered in his hotel room. So now and the one that's being accused of this murder is the actor who's playing the sequel character for the Steel Samurai, the Nickel Samurai, played by actor Matt On Guard. And to make matters even worse, Maya has been kidnapped by an unknown assailant. So, and because of that, he contacts Phoenix via a transceiver and tells him that he has to make sure that Matt On Guard uh, is a quitted of all charges of that murder. Which brings us to our first trial. So without further ado, bottle water at the ready. Let's get started. So we're back at the good old lobby. Here we go. Adrian did it? It's what it looks like. Oh my goodness, the volume is loud on my part. I always keep forgetting to put it down. That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there is someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer Dude. Like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Mia, we must get a complete acquittal today. I know. I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Looks like we're getting a call. It's him. This is Wright. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For myself, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give to me? You'll figure it out once the trial opens, even if you don't like my gift. I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait! The kidnappers sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer Dude? Who was that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? Alright. So what is this present? The 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 kidnapper sent to us, I wonder. And I apologize for the dog barking. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Alright, sorry about that. So, let's continue on here. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt on guard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. In the anime, at the beginning of this trial, it was just a Phoenix and Pearl, but in the game, it's Phoenix and Maya. So yeah, which is, I don't know why the anime changed it up a bit. It's weird. Anyways. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor, please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor, Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. And also a change from the game and the anime. In the anime, Detective Gumshoe was the one that barges in the courtroom explaining what just happened. What? Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present. Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she disappeared, this would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she all right? I don't have that answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Phew. You're... I thought he'd show up. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready. Naturally. Shouldn't you be on the other side, not in the witness stand? Much better. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt on guard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, your name and occupation. My name is Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe. The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir! Now, let's have your testimony. If you want, if we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Alright, here we go. Witness Detective Gumshoe's first testimony, bare facts of the case. Here we go. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Awards ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Carita, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. You don't say. Alright then. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their rooms, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Here we go. What I'm going to do is press on a few statements. So, here we go. Not this one. Let's see, the victim, Juan Carita, was found dead in his hotel room. Yeah. Alright, here we go. I think this is the one. Yep. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered. Alright, so we're gonna press here. The cause of death. Wasn't that because of Mr. Carita was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good look. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, a real pro's attention would be drawn here to this bandana. Banana? His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Ah, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Oh, yeah. What is up with this judge right now? Then, what about the knife? It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. More on that in a bit. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. Alright, and we get Juan Carita's autopsy report. Before I continue on, let's have a little look at that autopsy report. Alright, so the time of death was 8:15 p.m. Cause of death, strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. There you have it. The cause of death was not a stab to the chest, but he was strangled to death using the scarf. Or I don't know why they should have said they didn't add the words bandana to it. I guess lack of space, maybe? I don't know. Alright. So I'm gonna press here. At first we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. And why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. But Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of a crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that too, but the only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. So much for my theory then. Alright, the guitar case evidence has been updated. However, we later found out the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Alright, so I'm gonna press right here too. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Carita, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edward's back in full swing. Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Alright. So, the next testimony, why was Matt on guard arrested? Here we go. Matt on guard and Juan Carita were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume and was found in Mr. On Guard's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant brought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. You don't say. Predetermined. Premeditated, you say. Alright then. So, the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Sorry, I have a stuffed nose. You know what? Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Alright. So we have the knife here. And there's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And this button also... And is this button also covered in blood? Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? And thus we get the Jammin' Ninja's button. All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, Wright? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you'd like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. So yeah, that statement where it says premeditated, yeah, something about that. So I'm gonna go all the way towards that to that statement there. Let's see, the defendant's fingerprints were also there. The defendant brought the knife for the crime, which makes this... The defendant brought the knife, huh? Let's see. Let's present that a little knife anyways. Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle. Yeah, if you recall, most of the silverware in that hotel have a name, have a name brand or whatever, or like a property of branded in there. Yeah, in the grip, Gatewater is engraved. Yeah, that's why when he said that he quote bought that knife. No. Take a good look at the handle of this knife and you'll know what I'm talking about. Huh? It has a gate water seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel, the Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually a property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that's dumb enough to not realize this. But I didn't know. Oh. The question is, where did this knife come from? Why is that obvious? It came from the victim, Mr. Rita's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. But that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There is a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt on guard. Especially, what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife. Sorry, a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, excuse me, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt on guard's knife was missing. Mr. Arngard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to the court? Actually, I do. There's one. One piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one. What the judge is saying, Wright, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. They've worked. And the truth always comes out. If I mess this up, it's curtain for all of us. Oh boy, if everyone has seen this, yes, you're only given one chance. You present the wrong evidence, because look at how much the whole health bar is blinking, meaning one chance. You mess this up, it's game over. You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court? That would be the wine glass. This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken. His makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass is sitting on the top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do y'all have to say? Well, yes. It is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth? What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion? You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible. Mr. Wright? Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? I don't think there's no way. If I appear weak here, the trial is over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. They just might fall for it. If you're thought provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course, it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints? There was only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were one Adrian Andrews. What? Alright, so the glass has been updated with the term, it has the fingerprints of Adrian Andrews. That is why I said the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when I went to see Mr. Carita. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Now do you see, Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? I think you all know who it is. Yep. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Yeah. Wendy Oldbag. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Gotcha. I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Oh, edgy boy. It's been what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under the helmet it was the wicked witch of the witness stand? I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today, I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Everything, even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all the court needs to know. Shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps. Yes, madam. No, please, by all means, interrupt her, please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say that youth and hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what shall I start with? The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job of being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean you were a fan of the victim? Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Carita. But those two were the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Oh boy. Thankfully, this is the last game we ever. This is the final game we ever see. This is the only game she makes an appearance at. Yeah. Alright, what you witnessed. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know? Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out on the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was on guard, Matt on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. You don't say. So Mr. On Guard came out from the victim's room. See, it has to be him. He's the murderer. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Let's go thoroughly through her testimony. Let's see. Pacing. Yeah, she was pacing around, you know. There was something she found interesting. Since she was on the job the whole time, that's when someone showed up, and it was a man coming out of Juan's room. Yeah, she said it was on guard, sneaking out of Juan's, coming out of Juan's room. She may not remember things or be mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. It's bad for us, really bad. But that's how the human mind is. It also has a tendency to jump off topic. She strayed onto a few interesting side topics. This time too, hasn't she? But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? That's because you're not the one who has to question her. Right? Alright, so I'm going all the way towards the end here. And present the knife, because, well, if she saw on guard, wouldn't he be holding something? Nope, the wrong one. Sorry, wrong one. Sorry about that random jump cut there. Yeah, I was having some issues with the recording here, so I apologize. I thought it's because what I'm looking here is because I had the. Well, I know y'all can't see it, but I'm actually clicked on OBS Studio, and I noticed a little problem here. But thankfully I fixed it. But anyways, let's just keep on going here. Alright, So, where was I? I'm gonna go on the 5th statement here, and I'm gonna press. Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses. Sonny, the man that came out of Juan's room, he was. Yes, he was. I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud. Oh, what wouldn't I give to have Francisca's whip right about now? Well, I guess I can tell you, since he was such a bad boy anyway. It was Engard, Matt Engard. He was trying to sneak his way out of the room. Really now? You saw my client? Are you sure about that? Yes, see? Yes, see? It's weird. Alright. Really? Annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person. Why do I get the sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a mess like last year, I should delve into this a bit further. Yeah, I think you should. Alright then. I guess I can pick, who should I pick anyways? Yeah, let's say the person's clothes. Please tell the court about the man's closed ropa. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters. But it does. Now, what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing. That racing jacket. Ah, he was wearing that at the detention center too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Oh man. Right. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? Well, it's very important. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what a witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright. Witness, please. Well, I don't like to be bad-mouthing. I like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must. He was wearing his flashy, racy jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show. Really? All for show? Alright then. Why don't I present this button here? Miss Oldbag? What? Don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? It's a button. It's button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance. Give it here. Give it here. If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this. Wow, she really is a diehard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Engard's body during a full body search. See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal on guard. It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai hakama pants. See? See? On guard is of a nickel samurai. Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt Onguard, was wearing his usual racing jacket? I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore that trendiest... Oh. Here we go with that fast chatter. Like I said, I'm just not gonna say it. It's too much to read. Now hold your tongue still for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Onguard, the man, but Mr. Onguard, the nickel samurai. But when you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway. Miss Oldback, this is a very important point where we're talking about. Edgy Poo, do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth thinking about. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. Alright, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. Oh, wow. Alright, here we go. Who I saw. Here we go. On guard. On guard. Yes, now I remember. Of a nickel samurai. That's right. It was the nickel samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show, right? After the crime, you know. So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. Stabbing poor Juan, you say? I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Did you think there could have been someone else in that costume? Don't be a bad little boy, thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I really have to apologize for the multiple interruptions. So, yeah, I might as well say it in advance. During during recordings, I may have to pause on unexpectedly. So, be aware of that. Excuse me. So, youngins, today I told you there is no way, there is no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so, and what I say is the truth. At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Yeah. The statement about the knife. Alright, so let's see. Let's go all the way towards where the knife part is. Let's see. Which one is it? He must have worn that signal costume stabbing poor Juan. I think that must have been it. Yeah, that was it. So I'm gonna skip all this. I don't care anymore. We all know that there's a contradiction. Let's see. Here it is. Let's present the knife this time. Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. No, that's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case? You don't have to ask, because it's the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving? If Mr. Arngard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all the fingerprints off of this knife. Well, all previous fingerprints on this knife right off. Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he? He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. Now, why would he? If that were a case, the case when it comes to like a stabbing, why would someone just take off their gloves just to stab someone? Well, I mean, it depends on how the gloves are, anyways. If they're capable of holding certain small objects. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There is no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show, which is why he took his gloves off. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that the defendant and the victim had bad blood between them. Yes, I've heard of that. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intentions of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with his theory? Was there problems with his theory? Well, there are no problems, there is a contradiction, and think about it one more time. Well, let's go with option number 2. There is a contradiction. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Arngard was the killer. If that was the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone into the victim's room without intent. So yeah, let's present a profile picture. Naturally, you point to one piece with the least value, but with such vigor. Enjoy your energy while you can. Humans don't live forever. Neither do lawyers. You sure like to call your bluff? What, seriously? Phoenix, pay attention. Let's pretend for a second that Mr. Arngard is the murderer. From that angle, if he didn't have a mysterious intent from the very beginning, then that means there is a certain object that shouldn't be at the crime scene, right? A certain thing. What certain thing? How are you doing over there? Busy collecting your thoughts? Alright, let's give this one more try. And with even more spirit this time. Oops. Nope. Okay, there we go. This knife. This was used by Mr. Onguard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was, in fact, the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intention to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. Yeah, I was about to have a little trouble reading that. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. The knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. Order! Order, I say! Order in the court! Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? Well, basically to frame Matt Onguard? It's so to frame my client, Mr. Onguard, of course. To frame? Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? But we just established the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Witness. Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy? Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai? Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mixed up Mr. Onguard with the Nickel Samurai, his character on TV? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that. Look, I was waiting around in front of their doors because, well, I was waiting around for the Nickel Samurai. That's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai? Alright then. Who were you waiting for around? Who were you waiting around for then? That's top secret to anyone outside of security. I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Kurita. Am I correct, witness? The way you think, you are a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of? So, Oldback was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Kurita. Maybe. Phoenix? Maybe the Oldback was waiting around for that person. If it's who I think Mia's hinting at, it could be possible. Miss Oldback? You were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? There we go. Adrian Andrews. Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Onguard's manager. But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room? It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor. Hmm. Oh, this is... Well, this is... Hmm. Hmm. Huh. I see. The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing. Then a manager with the initials AA. Are you saying it's Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt. The witness thought so as well. Looks like you've found me out. Yeah, normally, if she talks with her, when she talks with her helmet on, I should cover my mouth, whenever she's in that helmet, but I choose not to, because if I did that, y'all wouldn't understand what I'm saying, or, if you're able I can't put in no microphone filter, even if I wanted to, because when it comes to microphone effects, I'm still kind of new at this. So like I said, normally I would cover my mouth, like for example, looks like you found me out, and yeah, either A, y'all wouldn't hear me, or B, y'all wouldn't understand what I'm saying at all. All right. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn confidentiality stuff. Witness? What in the world are you? Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I've got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course. But what for? Oh, just for myself, personal reasons, and all that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here? I really don't want to do this. However, I cannot simply let this point slide. I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify about this secret information. Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of you, youngins. Really now. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Alright, here we go. Let's hear Miss Oldback and her secret information. That on guard is one evil, evil man. He thought he couldn't ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet, okay? Yeah. It's not a secret anymore. You're just telling everyone in this courtroom. Not just, the defense, the prosecution, or the judge. Everyone is listening. The defendant sent his manager? What a distasteful topic for this court. What? Nobody's above gossip. And it isn't, and isn't there a saying? The truth is never pleasant. Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We have looked into this matter, and found that the truth the article proposes is in fact baseless gossip. But should this be true? Then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Be careful. The old back seems rather excited right now. That's right. On guard is nothing but your average foul-mouthed youth. Foul-blooded youth, sorry. Well, as the old saying goes, you gotta burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Alright, here we go. Let's see. The old, that on guard is an evil one. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, top secret. Let's see. Let's press for it. Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drill a hole into my brain, you'll never find out. How in the world did that old bat get such a secret piece of information? I think I know. So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag? Well, why are you looking at me like that? Stop that. Witness, I'm sad to say it, but this is how you found out this secret, isn't it? Lada's camera. The investigation photographer, Lada Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing? On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No. I said impressions. Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless. Ah, that's it. That's the note. Huh? No. You see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy. Yeah, it's too many Y's there. Then you are the one who took Miss Hart's note. I'm a huge fan of Juan's. That's why. That infamous puppy-haired whippersnapper, she's working with that evil On Guard. She says so herself. On Guard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Complete silence. Angie Pooh, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just this once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Well, should I forgive her? It can go either way, but I'll let it go just this once. I guess we should forgive her. How the heck are you to decide who should be forgiven? You, the delinquent? Number of endearing qualities? 0. Phoenix, you can't go easy on her. She's no frail old lady. Yeah. You should be pressing her until she gives in. Me is really scary today. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct? Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible, lonely trash can. That's all. You're lying, darn it, and I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. Well, yeah, you stole the camera. Lotta's camera, that is. Miss Oldbag, that note was with the camera inside this case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweetie, $1,600 camera disappeared on me." Why? Why? Witness! What is it, Gramps? If you had the note, then it is only logical that you had the camera too. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this camera you're looking for? That's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know? I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people. Right, borrow. I think your definition of borrow is a little off. I saw that a woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said, "Slime Bag, a celebrity photographer extraordinaire." Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of pictures she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry. We must examine them at once. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? There is only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai. See? I told you. That's the guy I saw. This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. And thus we get Lotta's photo. But wasn't it in color the last time we saw it? I don't know why they changed it to black and white. Oh well. What does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Ongard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is the defendant. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client? If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, then I would put Amaya's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. Yeah, about this picture. Before I make my the decision, let me see if it's here. Oops. have a look-see at this picture. Notice that his feet are showing. Yeah, his feet are showing. Now, let's go back to Lada's picture. Yeah, we have a lot of evidence. Now, as you can see, the pants. I apologize if I say the wrong thing. Notice that the pants are very low to the floor. Now, Matt Ungard is kind of tall for his size, and his feet should be able to be visible. But in this photo, the pants are like so like well, you know what I'm getting at, right? So yeah, something is strange about it. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree there is nothing strange with this photo. There is no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance. Correct? Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't I'll let this go by. Where in the heck did she take this picture anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts? Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange? Well, hold on, let me switch to well, look at it. The length of the pants. As I said before, when I showed the poster, his feet were exposed. But in here, the feet are not. So what I'm going to do is present here the pants and all that. Oops, sorry. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. What are you pointing to? His ankles? If you could see this person's ankle, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And what does that mean? The Nickel Samurai in this photo could not have been Mr. On Guard. What is the meaning of this? I wonder if you would care to elaborate with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama. His socks. You can see his socks. Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding up his hakama up just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. It's true. He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only think that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then he's not taking any damage. Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt Ongard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I thought it would come to this. What? Wright, I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt Ongard. I apologize if I'm hitting the microphone here. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah. Why is he so calm? Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is this the person in the photograph? Adrian Andrews. Adrian Andrews? If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it is none other than this woman. And why would you say it would be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? Well, for starters, she's short. And she can freely move it in and out of Mr. Ongard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Ongard that night. And how does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Ongard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon? Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense motion is to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Order! 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 It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to the court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day? If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya... Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews for testimony tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Yeah, let's raise an objection. Now then. Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony. I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. And what do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. Court is adjourned. To be continued. Alright, I'm gonna take a little break because trust me, for this first part I have a lot of editing to do. Especially if y'all haven't noticed that a huge chunk of my health was taken away. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so first off, I want to apologize for the multiple interruptions throughout the first half of the trial, so many complications. Alright, so without further ado, let's continue on with the second half of this trial. So yeah, I have to save first, so alright, so we're back in the lobby this time again. I'll say this time. Oh my goodness. So once again, the bottled water at the ready. Here we go. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian. No way. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner, was her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama. Because she was the one who came to wake me up. I'm sorry. That was a question. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Carita. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impacts for her strength and will to live. But then Miss Impacts suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Carita, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Carita. All to get the suicide note back. That sounds pretty plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Mr. Andrews' codependency with regards to Miss Impact. I think it was a typo or something. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Alright, here we go. Let the trial continue. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Carita's room. And she still has that card. What is your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt on guard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering of the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. Ah, no, I have no idea what you mean. I never even heard of Gossip Land. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Kurita. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter, or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one has accused you of that. I've got a feeling someone will soon. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. Alright, here we go. When I found the body. It was the time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. I'm had to press on that one. What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured on myself a glass of juice. I'm gonna press on that too. Felt like she was. I mean, yeah, I know she was in shock, but to pour a glass of juice. Yeah, I'll press on that. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pace. Disrupt her pace? She's the other type of woman who is easily thrown off by things, inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand? So yeah, on the third statement and the last statement, I'm gonna press. So I'm gonna skip the first two here. Alright, here we go. She was in shock. You were in shock? What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Kurita. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock, and you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. somehow I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. I see. Let me count this again, because I think I might have, okay, there we go, yeah. Here's the first one, second one, third one. So yeah, this was, okay, so fourth, and the fifth one. Here we go. Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the body of Juan Carita, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. What was she starting to say just now? Let's press further, shall we? Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry. It's kind of embarrassing. When I get the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This a mess of shards. It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto to the guitar case. Why did you withhold such important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony. Okay, well, I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. Alright, so, we have new testimony here. I was the one who knocked the flower vase over, where it fell onto to the guitar case. Okay, I'm gonna go to that guitar case. You testified that you knocked over the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto to the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. That's very true. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shards should be inside, not outside of the case. What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, an empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case. It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? Well, yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, this can go either way. This is one of the choices. I mean, that any choice doesn't matter, and this happens to be one of them. So, just for now, I'll just say, make her testify. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either. Alright, I'll follow along. For now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. Alright, here we go. The guitar case. Here we go. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked over the vase. After I knocked the vase over. It's basically the same thing. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. It looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using anyway to change the topic, a convenient escape for a weak man. But yeah, about this certain statement. Let's go to that guitar case. There is no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. He's trying to go Sherlock Holmes on this. Or Herlock Sholmes. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar are those of the victim. Sorry, guitar case. Sorry. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at that time? At the time? It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. How very strange of you, Miss Andrews. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove that I was not wearing gloves at the time? Simple. Remember when she found the body? She was in shock. And what's the first thing she did? She poured out a wine of glass. As I said, some gloves aren't capable of holding certain small things. Though I'm not sure if a wine glass is one of them. You're able to hold stuff with it, not like like most gloves are for lifting, because you know that some heavy things can be sharp, that kind of thing. But anyways, the wine glass. I have proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? And thus her glasses broke, but thankfully she has a spare pair. Order! 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 Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that that guitar case plays a very important role here, but it's just an empty case. I wonder if it was really empty, though. But the guitar, the bright red guitar, was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in that guitar case? What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either. I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case. Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's unusual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided. No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I am sure this guitar has some relation to the murder. If you are so sure, Wright, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest that... So you intend to push your theory at that the case was not empty? Is that it, right? Oh my goodness, excuse me. Oh my goodness. Alright, there we go. I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? So I'm gonna have to show the poster of the Nickel Samurai here. This is a photograph. Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor. In this picture. It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I am proposing is, inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Wright, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support your preposterous idea? Just outside of the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Order! Order! It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Oh my goodness. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Onguard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places? True. This is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case? It was a spare costume. Mr. Onguard did not take his costume off during the break. Remember, he was sleeping. So, in that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one. What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had planned to bring this spare to the ceremony. But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the Jammin' Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? Well, the answer may come as a surprise. So that's what he intended. Well, what are you mumbling to yourself about? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just... Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai's spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure? Are you gonna explain this one? Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Yeah, there is a reason for that. And as I said, everything will be answered. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was... And I quote... the conference ticket. What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. A press conference? Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Matt Ongard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was a setup by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Carita himself. The victim? Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Carita was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Carita, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Ongard. Yes, I guess that is what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's a public disclosure. Miss Andrews? I can see why you are pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this. I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me. You? Juan had bet everything on the Jammin Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway. He was going to ruin him? Huh? It looked like somehow Juan had his hands on a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What? And do you know what this secret of Mr. Ongard is, Miss Andrews? That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. I see. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all. But protect Mr. Ongard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor, I understand. Alright, here we go with our next testimony, protecting Matt. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. After he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder, my thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. Ooh. Very, very sneaky indeed. But something in the fourth statement kind of make me want to press her for information. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She is more nervous than a scared rabbit. If there are no objections, I feel that I can pass a verdict based on this testimony. Now then, Mr. Wright, if you please. Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Alright, here we go. So as I said, the fourth statement must be pressed. Here we go. Like I said, I keep on complaining about this, but I wish they would have put dots on it to know how many statements are there within that testimony. It makes things so much easier. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, let's press. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and the murderer fought, and during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Oh, excuse me 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Alright, it was an important phone call. You're talking about this button, correct? That button was found in the pleats of Matt's Hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Can she read thoughts? Seriously, can Mia actually read thoughts? Anyways, Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony. Alright, here we go. That button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. Really now? Let's see, where is that little piece of evidence here? No wait. Yeah, here it is. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. So, strangulation? The knife stabbed to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume when after the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body. Order! Order! What is the meaning? What is the meaning of this? Dude, the judge was about to say that same question until you interrupted him. Really? Really? Anyways, what is the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We know that this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it? To pin the crime on guard. There is only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. On Guard. There is no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. On Guard was set up. By the real killer, of course. And the real murder is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then? Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. On Guard was... Dun dun dun... Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you! Oh, sorry, Pokemon reference? Oh, wow. You are Mr. Kurita's killer. What? Order! 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 Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. Well, how preposterous! You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. On Guard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Oh, there we go. That should be like the perfect time to say or tisk. Then what about the button that was found in Matt's hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. On Guard was the real killer, there is no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own hakama. Jeez, how many spare pair of glasses do you have, Miss Andrews? Wow. Yeah, even during my first time playing this game, the amount of glasses she's broken whenever like she's in shock. How many spare pairs do you have? Wow, I can never figure it out. Anyways, the only person who could have put this button into Mr. On Guard's hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That, sorry, I'm a little, bothered. Well, never mind. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? And the weapon, no. Oh, no, never mind. There was no weapon there. Only the costume. It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed the discoverer of a dead body. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother counting how many times she broke her spare pair of glasses. And to top it all off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exit the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. On Guard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Now she's feeling cold. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Well, yes, you are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves. What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. On Guard's room, excuse me, Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood? All right. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things looked bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there is still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Kurita. Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Kurita? I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. But, Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would mean the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, or maybe not. There is nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No, she's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation. I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof. But that's not true. In this situation, there is only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial, Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, the court is... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you... It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but actually, there is one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews? When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and? I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Unusually, when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. Yeah, if she was like in total shock, normally a person would like calmly shouldn't calmly pour a glass of whatever they're gonna drink. Like they'll be shaking, you know, like shivering, shaking, like oh my goodness, they would be like scared big time. So my actions were unusual, but I've already, before you speak, I want to state that if you had reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what is it about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. I think she rhymed. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. Alright, time for the last testimony. When I found the body. That glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tried looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought of that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. Really? So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your testimony earlier? I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Here we go. Let's see. So we found out that that glass of juice, she didn't really pour it for herself. Let's see. Trying to figure out. What number am I in? Let's see. Right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go. And for Juan, he said he was sitting slumped over, like looking like he was asleep. When I saw him sitting like that the thought he was dead didn't cross my mind. And then, to be honest, he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. Let's present the crime photo here. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body. Yeah, remember when the knife was already plunged into the shoulder? What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There is a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Carita's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that here was a dead man. That's, well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then go non-chantingly pour something to drink. Your point is, Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly, that you are the real killer. No! And then it goes very quietly. I didn't skip it, by the way. It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Ongard, is not guilty after all. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. Spoiler warning, she's not the murderer. We already know, you as the player already know who caused the crime. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt. I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because... Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Ongard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Ongard. Wait a minute. Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. What? The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute, real truth. The absolute truth? What are you? Witness? Don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt on guard will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Franziska von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then, right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss Von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt on guard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging on to them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That is my only priority. It wasn't me. I'm begging you, please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help, please, someone, help me. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did, and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who is the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else. There's no one else it could be except the woman crying over there, right? Come now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Wow, this is very, very, very... And here's another multiple choice that can go either way. So I'm just gonna say force Andrews to testify. Like I said, there will be some multiple choice segments where it doesn't matter which one you pick. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know, what are you really hiding? Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. On Guard would get an acquittal, but in his place you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end? Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth. You're wrong. Such a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However, what is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop! Mr. Edgeworth! This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop! Please stop! No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I am about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her codependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in this world. Please, please stop. I beg you. If people found out, I'll... If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. And here we go. My crime. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume. Stab the body with the knife? But why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What do you mean by all of this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt, that scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Last time? So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Carita, in the chest with the knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence your cross-examination. There's no evidence to present. So all we can do is just press on every single statement. Here we go. But you could tell from the state of the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck, but the scarf is a part of the Jammin Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice. Alright, next statement. What is this plan you had. I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash to Matt's room. And then I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. Time to press. So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Matt Onguard's hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? Alright, next one. We're gonna press. An inconvenience? There was a woman with the camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. And that was Lara Hart. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lara. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That would be Whitney Oldbag. That's Miss Oldbag for you. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certainly weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. And that's when she ended up, before she left Juan's room, she put on the costume and, well, that's how she walked out. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold the press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there. And what is this secret? That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I don't want to concede, but this testimony, it rings of the truth. I'm sorry, Phoenix. No, please, don't apologize to me. We were both taken by surprise. Still, I'm sorry. I think I forgot to press most of them, I think. But you can tell from the state that the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead? Oh wait, I did do this. Never mind. Did I do this one too? Oh, yeah, I did this one too already, so I can skip this. And what about this one? Oh, here we go. This is the one I didn't do. That was so you can get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. Alright, there we go. I think we've heard enough. So, after that, you went back to Mr. Onguard's room and planted the button. Into Matt's hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word! What does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Onguard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? She said that I should under no circumstances confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. And that is until, excuse me, until Phoenix and Miles had no choice but to force that little truth out of her. Because Von Karma knew who the real culprit was, but not everything is as it seems. More on that later. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor. Oh, excuse me. The defense still... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of the witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please, let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her a detention immediately. That's all. Court is adjourned for today. Today's trial. It's over. And I did win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I ask you something? Edgeworth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this too. Although I didn't remember at the time, you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remembered just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body? I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not. But it's still a strange card if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why. Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? I can't believe you hid this from me all this time! I didn't mean to! What is this all about? I've never seen such an emotional Edgeworth in my entire life. Excuse me one second. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Something got caught in my throat. Oh my goodness. That card. What in the world is it? And what does it mean? And that's the end of the first trial. Oh boy. Yeah, this is a long one, and once again, I do apologize for the first half of the trial. Too many interruptions. This this other half here didn't have many interruptions, but again, I apologize. This has been a crazy day so far, so I apologize. But anyways, we're not done here. Oh no, we still have 2 more parts left in this entire game, and the plot thickens. The plot is thickening. So tune in next time when we go for our final investigation. So until then, everyone, take care and God bless. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and share with all your family and friends. If you're enjoying my content, consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to click that bell to receive notifications for new videos. Take care, and God bless.